Hey, everybody, and we are live with episode 201 of Hot Jobs. Hi, Tara. Thanks for joining us today, sharing the
Hi,
hottest jobs.
special Monday edition.
It actually is a Monday edition. That's a great point. Thank you for calling that out. For everyone here, tomorrow I have an event. I'll be at the Inter-Americas Defense College teaching a course on building a network and using LinkedIn to 51 officers from South and Central North America. So I'm super excited. It's something new to go out there and support them as an adjunct professor. So because I'll be out of the network tomorrow, Tara and I thought it'd be best to do it this afternoon at lunchtime. Everyone's raring back at work off their time off this weekend and ready to engage. So if you're here, let us know where you're coming in from and let us know what you're looking for. There are a lot of other employers that attend our hot jobs, and it could create opportunities for you. And of course, we check them out as well. But as we get started and before we hop into the meat of the session, I did want to highlight one of our partners, and our partners are at Heritage Construction. What's great about Heritage is they are looking for a skill bridge and direct hire. These are opportunities to do kind of account management, project management roles. And I have it up on their construction, on their reviews page today, because what you see here are people that are 5-star satisfied with their service, but these are people that went through some kind of a hardship. So they had some kind of weather event, something happened to their building, and someone from Heritage came out and said, hey, we'll take care of that for you. Let us get up there and do an assessment. We'll give it to you free of charge. And then if you want us to go ahead and lead the constructions and help you file your insurance claims and everything, we'll do that as well. And every time I've spoken with the Heritage people and people that have gone on to work for Heritage, they've been amazed by it. So if you're considering something like that, that is a combination, a little bit of sales, but it's not sales it's not like door to door. It's not use the call. I guess it is door to door kind of, but like, do you know that they've had a weather event? You know they have issue. You show up in your uniform with your wrapped vehicle or whatnot, and you're saying, look, I'm just here to help. If you want it, great. If not, and you can see that they do it a lot. And there are a lot of satisfied customers from Heritage Construction. So if you're interested, check out the HireMilitary page. Go ahead and apply for that role, and we'll get you in touch with them ASAP. Okay, so the first topic, and thanks everybody. We've got Patrick joining in. We've got Paul joining in. We've got Monique joining in. I love the capital Q you have there in your initial. I'm very fond of the capital Q for my last name, Quinn. But thanks for joining us. So the first topic of the day, I want to start off with the one about smiling, the importance of smiling in your photos. And I put this out there because in the military for about 4/5 of my career, whenever I had to take an official military photo, I had a pissed off look on my face because that's what everybody did. And that's what I was taught. Like all my board photos, if I had a photo on the wall, it was always. And I posted a photo of me last week when I was a first sergeant. I was applying for the Defense Attaché program, and you had to submit an official photo. And I don't know why did I look like it doesn't make any sense? And finally, I will share that I was getting a photo taken for the wall for my last assignment. I was on Fort Belvoir. I was a G3 sergeant major, and the photographer said, "Hey, why do you have to look pissed off?" And I'm like, "Well, that's what we all use." Well, I do all the generals in the DC area, and they're all smiling. He's like, "Let's try something different." And I was like, "Okay." And I smiled, and I loved the picture more. And then people said, "Why are you smiling?" I said, "The generals all do it." And then they started doing it, and it bled over. I realized from LinkedIn that we take an impression away from those photos, and if the number one thing is you got to look like someone that at least likes life a little bit, that you'd want to talk to or you'd want to work with. And so, what are your thoughts on like professional photos on LinkedIn profiles, Tara?
Well, first, I think it's important to have a photo. I think it helps people feel connected to someone, and especially when you're trying to build your network, you want to know who you're going to be speaking with. So I think number one is to have something that is up there, not just that blank icon. And then the next step is definitely having a professional photo. And professional photo doesn't necessarily mean that you need to pay a photographer to take that photo. That would be an elevated step if you want to go that far. But I think something that displays a good positive impression, like you said, a nice smile, something that's not taken at like the front seat of your car, or a group photo that you cut everyone else out and you just see like this little bit of face. So something, you can see from the shoulders up. And again, think of this as someone's first impression, like a handshake, if you were in person, right? So I think it's important to have a photo that clearly demonstrates like your attitude, especially when you're looking to be hired or grow your network, that you're open, receptive, friendly to meeting people. And that is a smile. That's how we all communicate, is that interaction, that first interaction. When someone comes up to you and gives you a smile, before they even say anything, you are interpreting that as, oh, this person is friendly. They're warm, they're receptive, they're open to conversation. And through technology, we need to find other ways to do that when we're not in front of people. And the easiest, lowest hanging fruit is just a photo of you smiling.
And we've got Cody coming from North Carolina, 12 months out, here to listen, learn, and connect.
Wow.
Thanks for joining, awesome. Cody. So, a couple other things, and I'm on Cody right there, having someone else, a family member in the photo. What do you think about that, Tara?
I think it depends. I think if you first, you want to know like that you are the person whose profile it is. So as long as it's mostly of you, I think that's okay. I think Cody had a nice picture there. I think that maybe that was a child in his photo. I think that's, I think if part of your identity is being a parent, then I think that's totally acceptable. But I think you want to be the main focus of the photo. So like a big group photo, we don't know who you are in that photo. So make sure that the photo is mostly you, or it's clearly identified that like, I am the candidate, I am the profile.
Yeah, there's no 100% right answer. People decipher things differently. No. For me, a profile photo, I want head and shoulders, just one person in there with something that looks like you like life on your face. And I'm not a big fan of grabbing a photo that was taken at an event, clearly taken at an event, like at a wedding or something like that you cropped out, or that's not a fan. If I see a flower sticking out of the pocket, I'm like, come on, like that was a wedding or a prom or like something like that. So I want people to put a little bit of effort, but everything else I agree with you 110%. We do have Armand coming in there. We always have people that share things like that. Good thing is I'm not talking about DoD ID cards, and I'm not talking about passports. It's the same thing. Passports, they do not want you to take a smile. They want a neutral expression. We are talking about your profile picture, your networking image. We are talking about the photo that you're using to connect with new people. I don't want a neutral image. If you look pissed off or unhappy or neutral, my first impression, like Tara said, is maybe they're not that fun to talk to. Maybe they're not that pleasant. Maybe they are neutral. And you can't help it. It's human nature. So, and then I guess the last thing I just want to talk about, and I don't want to go too long on this. I want to get to the jobs. In fact, let's do the jobs and we'll close up with the next topic. So Tara, you've got some opportunities that you wanted to share.
So let's start with Heritage, since we highlighted them a little bit earlier. We wanted to just go a little bit more in depth about the opportunities with Heritage Construction. So this is an opportunity for both SkillBridge and for direct hire. So you could be eligible either way in Central Texas. So as Mike mentioned, they are a roofing construction company, and the position is for an account manager. After speaking with Heritage and the team there, they said the people who really excel at this type of role are someone that has project management experience and someone who is used to checking off boxes. They're really organized. They like working with a team. They can handle kind of multiple conversations at once. And these folks, like Mike said, can go out to neighborhoods, maybe that have experienced some type of weather event, and they are assessing roof construction and damage and what would be done to that home in order to solve that issue. So they are on the front lines, making those client connections. They are building a base. They also have their own training. So it's okay if you don't know anything about sales. or about roofing. They actually have their complete own way of doing things at Heritage, and it's one of the really cool opportunities that you can learn from them. They also have their own technology, their own CRM, and how they handle roofing. That's proprietary to Heritage, so they have built that from the ground up, and that's something that they would train you on as well. So really cool opportunity for both direct hire and for SkillBridge in the Central Texas area. It's a really flexible schedule, which is also, I think, enticing. That you can kind of make your own schedule. Folks, can work around other life events.
Yeah, I'm such a huge fan of these opportunities because every senior military leader, enlisted an officer, considers themselves a project or program manager. And so if you're okay with being outside and helping people and managing multiple projects at the same time in the Central Texas area, like this is a great opportunity for SkillBridge or direct hire. Direct hire, yes. SkillBridge, you get to go try it out.
Yeah.
Right? Like you get to go test the job, go try it out, try it before you buy it. You're not buying anything, but you're going to take the job and go see if you really like doing the work. If you like managing the projects, the teams that are doing the work, engaging with the clients, making they're satisfactory, that they're getting their satisfaction. And that, as we see here, that they're getting those 5-star reviews.
Yeah.
So if you're interested, they can reach out to you, right, Tara? Or they can just
Absolutely.
go right out on HireMilitary.us.
Absolutely. Both ways.
Perfect. And what is your next opportunity?
Next, we're going to talk about a senior analyst for a complex claim position. So this position takes place in a couple of locations. That's always key, right? Jersey City, Philadelphia, Chicago, and Atlanta. And this is for casualty coverage. So really what we're looking for here, helping one of our partners, is someone with some legal experience. So you do need 3+ years in the legal department because you are handling these mass tort, casualty, complex claims. A lot of times it could be environmental in nature. So they do need someone with a legal background. Paralegal or a law degree is preferred. And so some really complex claims here, looking at some data, making sure covering risks for their clients. So we have a number of positions like this. I'm going to highlight the senior analyst. If you're someone who also has more experience in the law, there is a senior director position listed on our website as well. So that would require at least 5 years of legal experience in this like mass coverage, mass tort area. So like I mentioned, there's a number of locations, really desirable locations if you ask me: Jersey City, Philadelphia, Chicago, and Atlanta. So we're accepting applications for all of those to pass on to our client. Yes, Philadelphia.
Philadelphia and Jersey City, home of this Philadelphia. I just consider Jersey City too, but home of the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles.
Correct. Very important. So you'd be moving at least to a very happy city, unless you're already there. But you can find all of the details about this position and the requirements, of course, on our website. You're free to reach out to me with questions as well.
And I'm super happy that the NFL draft is coming. We've got 20 draft picks in the next 2 drafts. For those of you that may are just joining us for the first time today, both Tara and I are Philadelphia Eagles fans. I live in the DC area, which is fun to tell all the Commanders fans that we won the Super Bowl. And Tara lives in the Chicago area, which is dreaming of the chance to get back to the Super Bowl, those Bears. Right?
Oh, yeah, I don't know how they're still Bears fans. It's tough.
So I'll share one of the opportunities I have, and that's with our friends at DLA Finance. I know that there is a hiring freeze right now for the federal government, and that includes a lot of Department of Defense agencies, but there are other pathways. But DLA Finance is an incredible team, defense logistics agency. They are providing finance support to the agency that brings everything out to the tip of the spear, so to our war fighters. And so what I'll share is that they have a DoD SkillBridge program in the financial management area. They have 5 different roles. They are accounting systems, financial analyst, financial liaison, and business analyst. And these are roles that have a pathway to GS civilian opportunities. And the locations are San Antonio, only if you have accounts receivable experience; Battle Creek, Michigan. If you're going to go, I'd probably say it's better to go now when the weather's kind of nice. Columbus, Ohio, New Cumberland, PA, which could be either a Steelers or Eagles fans. Either way, you're probably going to make it to the playoffs. Philadelphia, PA, home of the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles, and Virginia. We've got both Fort Belvoir and Richmond, Virginia. And so if you have financial background in the military, if you are worked with contracts, if you worked with budgets, if you've done any of that stuff, if you're a senior leader that's managed them, I would encourage you to consider these roles. Yes, there's a hiring freeze, but the beauty of it is SkillBridge, anywhere from 2 to 4 months typically. SkillBridge gives you the opportunity to get in there and get that experience, get DLA on your resume, get that title on your resume. And as soon as the hiring freeze is gone, they are looking for ways to use rapid or direct hire authority to bring people on. So if you're interested in a career in finance, I will tell you it's a vastly growing field. I would check out HireMilitary.us, either SkillBridge or direct hire. We are still collecting resumes for direct hire. I will tell you they are anticipating a rapid action on a lot of these resumes in our pipeline the moment they have the ability to hire. So go ahead and apply online. Tailor your resume, please.
Yes.
Tailor your resume. Don't make us have to search for finance. If you're applying for a business analyst role, tell us you want a business analyst role and why you're qualified from it in that top paragraph. Highlight the experience in both your keywords and the accomplishments in your experience section. Make it easy for us to give it to them and them to see how you have the experience. All right, we've got a couple comments here. We've got, oh no, that's true. I did just talk to a Lions fan, and I told them I thought that they had a shot this year until their whole team got hurt. So they've got a bright future.
Right.
We do have Monique saying business analyst here in the ATL. I will say that we do not have business analyst roles in the ATL for DLA Finance, but I don't know how far Atlanta is from Richmond. So if you are interested in moving, I would encourage you to check that out. And we've got Monique saying, I would say, she's an old school Redskins fan, Redskins Commanders. I will say the future is bright for your team.
Yeah.
Tara, were there any other roles that you were going to share today, or should we move into the final topic?
I think we can move into the final topic, and just remember to look at all of our roles, both SkillBridge and direct hire, up on our website. Sign up for the jobs pool or the SkillBridge pool so that you continue to get our communications as new roles become available. And I know someone usually comments like, hey, I'm looking for a role in an area and I don't see a role right now. We update our jobs as soon as they become available. So checking the website, being in our jobs pool or our SkillBridge pool is the best way to get that notification.
Awesome. And Leon, looks like you may be a great fit. So I would look at the roles at DLA.
Yeah.
Either direct hire or SkillBridge at HireMilitary.us and send us a note to connect. And then we've got, I would tell Olivia to check out HireMilitary.us and see the whole length of roles we have, or follow us here so you can get advised more on these opportunities. All right. So the last topic that we wanted to talk about is something I posted this morning from my page, and it's I knew it was going to be a hot topic for people, but I was surprised by how many people jumped in really quickly to share their experience. And it is about PCS season. And what I mean by that is throughout a military career, you get accustomed to PCS or move every 2 to 3 years. So at about the 1.5 to 2.5 year mark, you're kind of used to getting orders. You're used to that new job. You're used to thinking about what's next. And the challenge is that the transition doesn't end when you get a job. Most people, when you ask them what their transition plan is, let me back that up. When you talk to any service member and you go to any kind of promotion board, or you talk to a senior leader, and they're like, what's your 5-year plan? And you have 2 jobs that you're looking at, and you have a long-term plan. Maybe you want to be a sergeant major, a command chief. Maybe you want to be a brigade or a battalion commander or a squadron commander. Maybe you want to be captain of a ship. Whatever those plans are, you have a long-term plan and a mid-range plan. But for some reason, when you hit the time when you're getting out, that plan stops and ends with like, get a job in Atlanta, get a job. And I'm like, time out, people. If you think about your timeline, the timeline you should still be thinking long-term. It's not get a job in IT. It's where do you want to be in 5 years in IT? What do you want to be doing? And how do you build that plan for growth? And so what I tell people is when they get that initial itch to move, maybe they suddenly feel like they're unhappy with their company or whatever. Stop for a minute, say, are you at that 2-year mark or so? And is it just that you're used to PCSing? And then what I'll say is if there's a general unhappiness that grows with the company, I'll say, what did you do to address that? Have you sought out other opportunities in the company? Have you talked to senior leadership about your current unhappiness? Have you talked to your leadership about how you can get more engaged or find something different to do? And most times I'll find people have not done that because they're used to intrusive leadership doing it for them. And intrusive leadership doesn't quite happen out here. And so I remember I had somebody reach out to me and they were at Microsoft, this huge company. And they're like, I'm unhappy. Like, this is not happening. I'm like, stop, time out. How long you been there? And it was like 2 years, 2.5 years. And I'm like, it's PCS season. Have you addressed it? They're like, no. I'm like, go. Like, you already passed the qualifications to get into this huge ecosystem like Microsoft. Go talk to your leadership about new challenges or growth within a company or things that you can volunteer to take on that will help you grow within the company. Don't leave Microsoft because you're just like ready to PCS. The grass, somebody just commented, they said the grass is not always greener on the other side. The grass is green where you water it.
Right.
And so I'll say, find that opportunity within a company. There's always room to grow, or almost always room to grow in some of these companies, and attempt to address it internally. Like, turn off your PCS clock the best you can and figure out why you're unhappy. And if it's really the company or if it's you, and if you could change that, and especially in today's market, I'll tell you the grass is not always greener on the other side. What are your thoughts on that, Tara?
I think your direct supervisor or manager doesn't know what they don't know. So I think the first advice is to say, hey, I'm looking for more challenges. I feel really great about the foundation I've laid here, but I want to continue to grow. And I think most managers would be really excited to hear that and to be able to give the opportunity. And I think, if it comes down to a position where maybe you are at the top, there could be another role that you don't even know about with the same company. So I think that's something. First is always your direct manager doesn't know what they don't know. So you need to share how you're feeling. And if you want to continue growing, maybe explore what that could be at the same company.
And the squeaky wheel gets the grease in a lot of times. And it's not a negative. I go back to what we talked about a couple of weeks ago. I had a friend that was at EY that came over to EY. And when they came over, they said, you'll do 1 year at this level and then we'll promote you. And I said, and they said they were upset they didn't get promoted. I said, well, did you tell anyone? Yeah, the recruiting piece happened, but did you go to your manager or your counselor, your partners and say, what, when the promotion cycle happens, it's same cycle every year. Did you tell them in promotion cycle that this happened and that you wanted to be a manager and you wanted to get that? And they were like, no. And I'm like, okay, you missed it now. Go tell them. And they made it the next year.
Absolutely.
And if they say you're not ready right now, ask them, what do I need to do to prove it? And then go do that. So yeah, that is a great point, Tara. I've got a question here. I don't have my glasses on, so I'm going to pull it up. There you go. That one's for you. Ashley said, which it's a really cool spelling of the first name. She said, do you recommend tailoring our resume for job talent pool applications on your website when looking open to several roles in San Antonio, Texas? Operations and business continuity and emergency management. What are your thoughts, Tara?
Yes, I think that resounding yes. So you should be tailoring your resume for the job that you are seeking. And then I would also say that's the same if you are looking to relocate. If you are looking, put it at the top of your resume, like open to roles in San Antonio, Texas. But yes, I would tailor your resume for the jobs and talent pool application because I go through each one. And if we have an immediate opening that I think you would be interested in, I will shoot you an email. I also tag them for categories so that I can alert the right people for the right opportunity for what they are looking for. So Absolutely, yes.
I love it. And you know, I'll say that for Ashley, that for your LinkedIn profile, if you turn on open to work, you can add different locations on there in the same type jobs. What I'll say for generic resumes, if you're not applying to a specific role, when I say generic, I'm not a huge fan of like all over the place, but I like that you've kind of tailored it to a specific field. The more refined to a specific career field you can get, the better likelihood is that Tara is tagging it with the terms that she's looking for and setting it up for future success. So tailor it to the best of your ability, and find some similar roles that you can use online to tailor your resume. And then, you know, if she's going to connect with your client, she can always ask you to, hey, can you add this or whatever?
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. This was an exciting Monday episode. If you think there's a better time or date that we should be doing these, please drop it in the comments. Take that into consideration, right? And I hope everybody has a wonderful week. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Have a great week.